our second Bulgarian opportunity for SeedBlink, and Stoyan Nedin, general partner in Vitosha Venture Partners, who are backing up that round. They're lead investor in the current round with 100K, that is euro. We have a number of questions lined up, and I strongly encourage anyone that wishes to actually ask their questions to do so in the Q&A section in the bottom of your Zoom, and then we will aggregate and answer every single one of them. Without any further ado, I think we should start with the main person why we are gathered here today for this Q&A session. That's Kristian. I'd like you to take the time and present yourself, and then present a little bit about the idea of Agriniser. How did it come up with this idea, and what are you trying to achieve with it?
Sure. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and to be able to tell more about Agriniser and what we do. As you said, I'm the founder and CEO of the company, and perhaps I can just, before we get into the Q&A and everything else, I can just provide a small pitch and describe what Agriniser is, and then we can just follow up with questions, and I can give you the story behind it and everything else, if that makes sense, so that cool. People know.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Let me see if I can share my screen. And just let me know if you can see everything.
Yeah, we see it perfectly, yeah.
Okay. Well, in simple words, Agriniser is a digital marketplace that helps grain buyers and sellers to trade efficiently and make informed decisions about their businesses through getting access to first-class market information. What is the problem? Just switch slides, because for some reason I don't know if I have.
No, we don't see the next slide, but you can. Oh, now we do.
There. Sorry. Okay. What's the problem? Well, grain business is just old school. I mean, starting with transparency, nobody knows right now what is being bought or sold on the physical grain market and what is the price for it. That's quite a big miss for an industry that relies on instant supply and demand. Second, negotiations are done over the phone, entirely online, or in-person meetings, which is slow and inefficient. And finally, there are quite a few middlemen on the supply chain that charge very high commissions. As you can guess, we have the solution for that, and we've built the Agriniser marketplace. It's a centralized platform that brings more buyers and sellers in one place and allows them to list offers, negotiate, and close deals efficiently. Negotiations could be public or anonymous upfront, entirely online, which saves time and effort for everyone in the process. And the deals are done directly between the buyer and the seller. There are no middlemen, which guarantees much better prices for both sides. So far, we have roughly 1,500, a bit more than 1,500 users on our marketplace from Bulgaria only. 13.2 million euros worth of grain transacted through the system. And we get more than 20 requests per month from companies on the neighboring market that want to join our marketplace. That is actually happening now. We see companies from Romania, Ukraine, Greece, and other markets. Agriniser makes money through a straightforward subscription-based model. Basically, customers can pay monthly or annually, and they can do unlimited number of deals for the period of their choice. We're also looking to generate revenue through ancillary services, such as grain testing, payment guarantees, and other financial services, transportation, and through the generation of trading data. The business is highly scalable, and because it's entirely digital, we see no boundaries to expand internationally. This is who we are, and our team is committed to change the grain trading business for good. And currently, we are looking for investors who would like to join our journey and help us become the European grain marketplace.
Okay, thanks a lot for that intro.
Sure.
I go a step back and just tell me how was in the first place created as an idea, Agriniser? How did you identify those misconceptions and very outdated ways of trading, which is a very traditional sector, as a matter of fact, I must admit?
The short answer is that I was trying to solve a personal problem here, but let me give you a bit of a background. My experience comes from the energy and gas industry. I used to trade physical energy and gas in London for 5 years. And back in 2010, I decided to move back to Bulgaria, where my family has been into the grains business, for my father in particular, for more than 30 years. At the time when I came back, I joined our flour milling business. And my main duties were to source grains from the local and the international market for the manufacturing of specialty types of flours, and of course, selling the end product to the local and the surrounding markets. And to be honest, I was shocked the way people were communicating and how the trading process was happening, because it was all offline. And initially, I thought that this is typical for the Bulgarian market only. But soon I realized that this is happening pretty much everywhere, because I was trying to import high protein wheat from countries like Austria, Hungary, Germany, and even there I was struggling to find a supplier, unless you go through a broker who would charge you a pretty decent fee, and you can do the math if you buy a few thousand tons, how much you will be paying. So I really needed a solution that would save me time and give me an open access to a market where I can meet people who are willing to buy or sell at this particular time, be able to communicate and negotiate a deal within a matter of minutes, and just proceed with the execution. That's it. So this is part of the idea, pretty much.
Right. So it's a personal problem that actually went to this creation of the solution. And I presume, as our investors would agree that have joined this conversation tonight, it is difficult to kick it off. I'm sure people believed in the idea from the beginning, sponsored it, friends, family, and fools, right? And then came along Vitosha Venture Partners. I'd like to take the opportunity and actually introduce Jan to the audience, and maybe he can introduce himself and Vitosha a little bit about your investment thesis, if you can talk about that too.
Yes, thank you, Angel. Yeah, my name is Stoyan Nedin, and I've been an investor and tech entrepreneur for the last maybe 12, 13 years. We have founded Vitosha about 2 years ago, but prior to that, the team of Vitosha, which is actually quite international, we have a US guy based in San Francisco and a Vienna, renowned Vienna investor based in Vienna, and about 6 guys here in Sofia. Yeah, we have done about 200 deals prior to founding Vitosha, and amounting to about 140 million euro. And so far in the last 2 years, we have done 42 deals, 43 actually. And we are extremely enthusiastic to present you this deal, because we are extremely enthusiastic about it, and we are quite bullish that this is going to be like the future of the sector in Europe. Maybe you asked a little bit about our investment thesis for Agriniser. I would say that most importantly, we see that the industry is super not digitalized here in the region. And we see that there are unicorn players like this happening globally, but it's regional unicorns. So it is still a regional play. And we have already, I think, 2 or 3 unicorns happening, each responsible for their own region. And just there is this niche in the market, and it's a matter of time who does it here. In our region, Central and Eastern Europe, and even Western Europe, since even Western Europe is not completely there yet. So we see that first of all, first and foremost, the founder, Kristian, he combines actually industry experience. They have really good tech know-how. He knows how to sell locally and to the Western markets. He has the experience of having this trading understanding, because larger traders actually will have extreme interest in the platform, because it's about 200 billion market in Europe, which is very, very prehistoric at the moment. So all this trading can be optimized by efficiency of pricing, efficiency of information, knowing what quantities of grains exist where it's most efficient for you to buy, just saving from price, from logistics, and just the information in this particular industry can be of vast importance to the millions of farmers that are operating in Europe.
Okay, thanks a lot for that, Stoyan. Really appreciate it. Kristian, back to you. With regards to the opportunity, maybe we can talk a little bit about the product, because I see people already starting to post questions in the Q&A, and I think it's the right time to actually talk about the product. If you want to open up the deck and talk about a little bit the actual platform that we service, because I mean, one of the questions that was already quite significant, and that popped up in our first meeting, as a matter of fact, is how you make it paperless, how you make it legally binding. So that those two questions is something that is very important, and I guess obviously the investors are also asking the same questions. So maybe if we can talk about the actual product, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, no worries. I've shared my screen again. I hope you can see everything fine. Yeah, as an opportunity in the first place, Stoyan mentioned a few numbers. I mean, it's a 200 billion euro market in Europe alone, and I think this figure is now significantly underestimated, considering what's happening in this market and where the prices have gone. But in terms of the product itself, you're right, this is a traditionally offline sector that relies mainly on personal relations and people communicating over the phone, whereas we provide a software solution where people can freely list. Let me see if I can, perhaps I can even quickly show you something on the website, but people can freely list an offer to buy or sell grain, which is specifically designed and tailored for this industry. They can basically provide the price, the quantity, the transportation terms, the payment terms. If it is a seller listing an offer, they can even upload a quality certificate to showcase the exact product they're selling, which will motivate the buyer to be more willing to negotiate and pay a fairer price. So the negotiation model is by means of exchanging counter offers. It's all digital, so people can just exchange a number of counter offers and communicate the terms. For instance, they can change the price, they can decide to buy a bigger or smaller quantity from what's being already offered. Then pretty much they can negotiate anything they would normally do in a physical meeting or on an over the phone conversation. Once a deal is agreed, basically, we act as a connection service and we make the connection between the parties so that they can proceed with the physical execution. And this is the moment actually where we ask them to pay in order to be connected, because initially we don't reveal who sits behind the offer, because what we say is that what matters is the terms of the deal. It doesn't matter who's behind the offer. What matters is that you have to have a fair place where you can just negotiate the terms you want. So this is the principle that the model basically that we use for the negotiations part. And at this point, for the Bulgarian market, we have we haven't made it a binding contract yet, and we've done it on purpose because we wanted to show people basically what is the value added from the platform itself in the first place. We wanted them to be flexible, and we say once you basically negotiate the deal, we wanted to monitor how they execute on that and what is happening. Now, by going to another market, we realize the importance of this thing, and we plan to add it as a service because that makes the relations even stronger. So yeah, this is it.
Okay, and if we can continue with that, then the business model, the way it is structured currently, it is a recurring revenue.
Yeah, to be honest, we wanted to completely differentiate ourselves from the traditional brokerage, if you like. And we don't charge commissions. The business is highly scalable. There are more than 10.5 million farmers in Europe alone. And we say, okay, we can charge you a subscription plan, which doesn't restrict you how many deals you can do. And we have an aggressive expansion plan, strategic expansion plan, that basically by adding a new market to our marketplace, we see this increase the willingness of people to participate. And we see this as a significant factor that will impact our revenues as we go forward. Because you know, on a small market, although Bulgaria is a net exporter of grains and it's a relatively small market, people, we get it from customers even, people know each other, but they often say, if you give us access to the neighboring markets and we can deal directly with the counterparties abroad, this is a completely different story for us.
Okay, you touched upon a very interesting point. So expansion plans, can you walk us through your main growth assumptions then?
We have a number of assumptions here, but as I said, from the very beginning, Agriniser is meant to be a European platform. Bulgaria is our first market because my experience is from this market in particular, but we plan to open up a new market every year as we go forward. We also expect 10% growth of paying customers every year. And as a pessimistic scenario, if you like, we assume 30% paying customers within the first 3 years after launching on every new market. We'll see how this will be affected because the current environment in terms of the economy and the war in Ukraine and everything else is making the need for such service even bigger.
Okay, so you see it rather as an opportunity than a risk in front of your business.
Definitely as an opportunity. I mean, we even have a few companies from Ukraine that have organically found us, and they already have chosen our paid subscription plans just to have access to bigger markets, and they have started exploring opportunities on our marketplace. So this is definitely something that will boost our product.
Okay, so we are currently raising a round which will, if I can sum it up, is going to be financing your expansion plan. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes, we're looking for funding in order to expand to Romania as a first step of our strategic expansion plan. And of course, we need to hire the right talent. I mean, we have a number of positions within the company, such as the customer support, salespeople, marketing people, etc. And we are also going to market our services aggressively. This is directly related to how we perform and how the revenue moves on. So these are the two main things.
Stoyan, at the beginning, because you were too humble to present yourself, but Stoyan at the beginning mentioned that you have previous experience. Can we talk a little bit about the team and their experience? Because I saw a slide with pretty impressive names there, what they've done previously.
This is the team. We have strong background in both the agricultural side and the technical side. You already know about myself, and on the operations side, we have Bobby, who is a guy coming from multinational companies like BASF and Bayer. He's an agronomist as an education, and he's currently the person behind the weekly market reports we write. I probably forgot to mention, but another part of our services, apart from the trading side, is also information. And because information and trading, they go hand in hand, we do that as a service as well. The two girls in the team, Plomena, she's leading the financial side of Agriniser. She has experience from the pharma industry by organizing events in the pharma industry, from the events management business. Milena is also coming from an agricultural family. She's currently taking care of the customer support and sales for the Bulgarian market. We have Georgi, who is the product owner. He's basically communicate everything that we do with the product across the technical team. And we have Christo, who is our CTO. He has the strategic vision of the product. He basically knows how things should be done. We have Georgi here, who is the lead developer. And we have Alex, who is the front-end developer of our marketplace. And lastly, Plamen is taking care of everything, that everything should work smoothly in Agriniser as a product.
Pretty impressive. Thanks a lot for that. I see questions popping up, and I'm trying to fit them with what you're saying right now, that you just mentioned that you also earn money from writing reports about the industry and about the trends and what's happening. One of the questions that was just posted was, do you also offer connection to transport depositories?
Sorry, can you say again?
Do you also offer connection to transport depositories?
Well, part of
like auxiliary services. What kind of auxiliary services you also?
Sure. Let me get to the slide where we actually. I mentioned it earlier that we are looking to generate revenue from ancillary services, and transportation is one of them, because the grain trading business is it's a bulk commodity in general, and transportation is a significant part of this business. So we see this as an opportunity to connect transportation services to our customers where needed. And I think across borders, this is going to be even more important. So the answer is currently we don't, but this is in the pipeline, and we are planning to introduce it in the near future, along with the rest of these services I've mentioned here, like the grain testing, the insurance, the payment guarantees. It's all planned.
So if I understand correctly, currently exchange of grain happens without guarantees. Is that what you're saying?
It happens without guarantees on the traditional market as well. People.
What do you mean? So if I order something, there's absolutely no guarantee that the quality of the grain will be X?
It's complicated. I mean, normally the quality assurance is something that the buyer always needs to know. And in my opinion, the majority of the farmers in Bulgaria are not testing their grain. So we want to provide a transparent place, basically, where they can do that. This will be comforting both the buyer and the seller, because they know exactly what type of produce they negotiate about. In terms of a guarantee, unless you sign a contract, the negotiation happens by means of, do you promise to sell me this and that, and that's it. So the guarantee is pretty much offline.
Okay, so if you allow me to sum it up, like the current way that businesses function, like everywhere that you've seen, not just in Bulgaria, is that you pick up the phone because you know somebody, and then you make the trade. That's the current alternative to the solution that you're providing. Is that correct?
This is my observation on the Bulgarian market mainly. I'm not saying that this applies to every other market in terms of, you know, signing up a contract and be responsible about what you promise to do. However, the method of communicating and finding who is buying and selling what is exactly as it happens here locally.
Right. So let's talk about a little bit the competitive landscape, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
You've got the pretty good information on that as well. So if you can walk us through your advantages, yeah, that's a good slide.
Sure.
Talks about the advantages that you have.
Yeah, we have identified a number of competitors across different continents. I mean, apart from traditional brokerage, typical online ads of people saying that they're buying and selling stuff, we've identified companies like Agriniser, Indigo, and Graindex. Indigo is a big company based in the States. I think they raised Series E last year at $850 million or something like that. Graindex is a company based in the UK. They market themselves as a marketplace, but in my view, they're mostly auction-based platform. And Agriniser is also a company in Europe. They recently changed their focus on carbon emissions. Not sure why, but I'm trying to say that there are only a handful of companies I've seen so far in the region, and every single one of them has its own business model. What makes us different is basically that we provide market access to the buying and selling opportunities of grain 24/7. We provide flexible listings that could be either public or anonymous, so people can choose the way to negotiate their deal. Negotiations are done online, and it's not like either take it or leave it as compared to, for instance, Graindex. We have a very detailed and flexible approach towards negotiating the parameters of the deal. And because of the anonymous environment, we provide unbiased trading decisions, as I mentioned earlier. I mean, it doesn't matter who sits behind the deal, it matters getting the deal done at the terms you really need.
Okay, cool. So essentially, I would like to involve a little bit Stoyan with this conversation. To me, at least, it's key that you're entering this vertical that shows a lot of support for the Agriniser as an investment opportunity. Can you tell us a little bit more about how did you come up with, why did you decide to invest?
Yeah, basically, what are the big questions that we usually ask ourselves? Because we are not investing in one vertical, but rather we want to pick up the best 1-2 opportunities from a single industry, because we are, like, Central and Eastern Europe is relatively smaller market, so we cannot afford to be dedicated only in one vertical. But what is the case here? So we have a clear problem that Agriniser is solving. There is lack of transparency, lack of information. People don't know what quantities are available at one point, how many farmers are selling, what is the pricing at the moment, what's the best price that you can buy right now. And it's very clear that this thousands of farmers in one market and millions of farmers in Europe are not trading efficiently. So very clear problem. We see a solution that's already being built, being operational. Many happy and also paying customers. We see a founder that's experienced in being on the side of the trader of agricultural product, being on the side of the commodities trader, knowing the efficiency, the benefits that efficiency of information provide. That's why we think that this solution could be a really good acquisition target for hundreds of millions, or even a unicorn to companies like Cargill that are basically that can benefit so much from the information, from controlling the market, from access to all this trade, all these billions of euro changing hands. We have really great team, great solution to an important product. We have the traction that we want to see, and we are super happy to commit this 200,000 to the expansion of this, because the more it expands, the more synergies there are between the traders, because you have more deals, more offers, more market information, and you can basically trade outside of your comfort zone efficiently when it makes sense. So that actually there will be more money made for both sides, less money for intermediaries which are speculating on the lack of information. And for us, the path to an exit is quite clear. Market by market, we can be the at least Central and Eastern Europe, or even more player that can just unite the agri-grain trade of our region. And there are so many companies in the agri industry, in the commodities industry, or just investors in this industry that can acquire us in 5 years, for example.
Thanks a lot for that, Stoyan. You mentioned something that pops up as a name everywhere in each conversation. Like everybody familiar with the industry, the first thing that comes to head is Cargill, and then the second question is, okay, so why doesn't Cargill have one of these trading platforms? Do you have an answer to that?
Well, they're in a different business, and maybe at this point, I'm not sure that they have access to these little farmers who will have the incentive of having this platform. So for them, I don't think they are ready to play such a role. And also, they are probably benefiting on this. They're one of the guys that are benefiting on the lack of information. And maybe they're not incentivized for this platform to exist, but this makes it an even more notable in the market. But I'm sure that Kristian will have more industry insights than me on this.
Oh, you're right. I mean, multinational companies are well positioned in this market. I think I've been researching the space a lot. I've seen some trying to build such marketplaces, but in a way that they are the only buyer, which doesn't really create a competitive environment. So what we are trying to do here is completely different. It provides fair access to anyone who wants to buy or sell grain equally.
Okay, thanks a lot. Well, I guess the same question to you, Chris. Why should our investors invest in Agriniser then?
Well, currently we are in a growth phase. I believe that still this is the beginning of our journey, and we are looking forward to unlock the full potential of our marketplace. So investors can benefit from favorable investment terms at this stage. And we are really excited to basically start our expansion strategy and provide returns.
And the first step is Romania, the way you mentioned previously. One question that pops to my mind is you will need to hire people there. How do you plan to do that?
Definitely, this is very, very important for us. Of course, being an alumni at SeedBlink, we look forward to collaborate with the team there and be able to get local experience and help in hiring such people, because yeah, I mean, agriculture is a bit specific industry, so we definitely rely on that. And we are also working with other recruitment companies to be able to identify the right people for the team. So yeah, we'll use these channels to be able to bring the right people for our path going forward.
Thanks a lot. I think I strongly encourage anyone that has questions. I know some of you are shy and would prefer to have the answers in writing. But obviously, we're opening up our private campaign tomorrow. The public one starts on the 28th. There is a section you know very well in our website where is a discussion tab, and I strongly encourage every single one of you that needs additional information on top of the one that's going to be uploaded to actually ask their questions there. I think on that we can say goodbye to everybody and look forward to your investment. Oh, here's another question right at the end then. Just a second. From Marius Ogrezano, I apologize if I don't pronounce it correctly. Please find our support on recruitment for Romanian market. We already offer our services, more IT agriculture app. Well, there you go. You already have connections there.
Thank you very much.
That's a good start. I like that.
Give it a look.
Okay, Mario. So I'll put you in touch with Chris if you don't mind. And another one. Most of the farmers are not technology centered. How would you enable ramping up on the platform for those farmers? That's a good one. I leave it to you, Kristian.
Yeah, I've been asked this question so many times. That's true. What we see over time is that more and more young people are getting into this business because most farms are family businesses, and this is getting a big business. We are also committed to provide a very, very simple way of technology to these people so that they can find it easy to use and basically feel comfortable in negotiating deals through us. So in my opinion, this is a good trend overall. And to my experience, we haven't really had any customer that has faced any difficulties or we were unable to resolve.
So you see people like yourselves going back to the family business, which are digitally aware and can easily onboard with such solutions.
Many times I see that, for instance, the father who is taking the decision about what price the grain will be sold is the decision maker, and if there is a younger person in the family, they're the ones who are taking care of listing up offers, sending counter offers, and basically trading through the system.
Which is exactly the type of audience you need.
True. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot. Do we have anything else? Not at the moment. Not at the moment. I'll share the details of Marius with you, Chris. And again,
Please do.
should anyone have any further questions, please do post them. Chris, Stoyan, myself, and the entire team are there to answer them. Thanks a lot for your time, everyone. Chris, Stoyan, and everyone who joined.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.